Welcome, Earthlings, and now you can even hear me. Alright, so in this video I'm going to go over some of my influences in terms of health and fitness, some YouTubers, YouTube channels I recommend, not just YouTube channels, but just people, but a lot of them happen to be on YouTube, and a bit about my background. I'm not going to dwell on that, I just want to try to get one point across. Alright, so let's dive in. So I've written most of the folks here on the board, just so you can kind of get a quick sense. Let me give you, as we're running through these, I'm going to go kind of through them point by point, but the letters, what are these green letters? It typically tells you, they may do more than what I've said, but F means fitness, N is nutrition, M is mental tips, or like mental attitude. So just because I've written certain letters doesn't mean that's all those people are associated with, but that's sort of what I use them for mainly. So, but most of them do pretty much what I've written, but some of them do a bit more. All right. So these are people that I think you guys can learn a lot from. So you don't have to, follow all or check out all these people. In fact, you can just start from my channel, and then if there's certain things I say where you want to go in more depth, then you can go and check these people out later, or just ask me, who do you recommend more in depth for X, Y, and Z. But I think these should be on your radar, so I really want to, most of these people don't need my promotion because they're already super popular, but I want to give them a shout out. All these people, I think they really deserve it, and they're doing great work. So, and I wasn't born knowing everything that I know, so neither am I anywhere close from knowing everything there is to learn. I have so much to learn, but I've learned a lot from these people. So I really want to give them credit and bring them to your attention. So here are my influences and folks that I recommend, and let's just dive right in. So the first person, they're not organized in any special way. Maybe the first few I kind of, it kind of goes from fitness into a little more nutrition, and maybe the first few I kind of have learned more from, but don't worry about the order they're presented. They're all, that's sort of just mostly random. All right, so if I had to pick only one person that I don't think anybody has it all figured out, but if there's like one person who has things figured out more than most people, then Ido Portal would be my pick, because he emphasizes movement and not being a specialist in one field, like not just being a weightlifter or just a sprinter or just a gymnast. So he's, to my mind, a little more about general health and movement. So I very much jive with what he says in his philosophy. So that's why he can pretty much do most things that I can do physically, but better. So I really want to, recommend you guys check some of his work out. And he has seminars and stuff. Anyway, that's all I'll say about that. And make sure to check out the links in the description. I'll try to link to all these people's YouTube channels, and when appropriate, such as with probably the first two, I'll link to like a particular video I like, or like a movie about them or something like that. All right. So FitnessFAQs, Daniel, he has basically primarily, I would say, for calisthenics. But I've learned so much. He has tons of really helpful videos of how to progress, which exercises to do. So, and he's just a really, really good vibe, really good personality. So, I'm going to link a video in the description that I think is really amazing. So make sure to, I would say if you're going to start anywhere, although I think this guy's probably like the most advanced if you had to pick just one person, I'd probably start with Daniel's video in the description. All right. Next, so CalisthenicsMovement, it's kind of similar to what Daniel's channel is, so they're also great. They complement each other. We have Coach Sommer. He's, I think, the former head of the U.S. gymnastics team, and you could check out he has a program or website, Gymnastics Bodies. Plenty of great stuff, especially for like injury prevention, rehab, prehab, all of that stuff. How to get stronger on gymnastics rings. A little more for the calisthenics crowd, so if you're like a weightlifter, I'm not sure you'd be too interested, although you should check him out as well. All right, so who else? We have Athlean-X. So Athlean-X, he's also a physical therapist, personal trainer. And if you have like specific issues like, when I bench press, my shoulder hurts, or when I do this, like for troubleshooting specific issues, I love him. So definitely check out. He has a really popular YouTube channel. So fantastic videos. All right. Bruce Lee. I mean, how can you not have Bruce Lee on the list? But I want to direct you guys. I mean, there's Bruce Lee. You've seen him in the movies. You might have seen a few interview clips. But check out his writings. I actually have learned much more from him in terms of his philosophy. And I may say more about that in another video in my EPGP series, which stands for, I don't know if I've written on the board, Educational Philosophy and General Principles. So I'm going to do a separate video on that. But basically, he has some books on his martial arts stuff, but he also has like stuff on his philosophical writings. So you can find those on Amazon or anyway, check those out. I think you can really learn a lot about that. The Art of Unity, Bill Farr, I think, has that channel. So this is more for like general health tips. I've been learned that there's a few fitness exercise things I took from there, but it's more like, I think of this sort of complementary to the Ido Portal is more like exercise and movement, whereas the Art of Unity is more for like nutrition and how to like structure your life, everything in your house, and how to have everything else be healthy outside of the exercise stuff. Although he talks about the exercises as well. So he talks about like stress reduction and eating right and fermentation and all sorts of crazy stuff. So definitely recommend that. And this is a smaller channel, so I think this should probably, I think this should be way more popular. And so these are pretty popular channels. So we have Elliot Hulse. So I think he sort of got started more on like exercise stuff and fitness, but his mental stuff is actually fantastic too. He gives a lot of advice for like real world social issues. So both for fitness and mental, I've learned a lot from him. Brendan Carter. So now, also I want to give a quick disclaimer. I really shouldn't have to do this in a perfect world, but I know there'll be some kids or parents that might get annoyed. So it may not be just these, but I've tried to sort of think about that for a second. These bottom four, and occasionally maybe the others, but not so much. The bottom four tend to, they might use some like bad words or language that I don't think there's such thing as inappropriate language for kids, because I think we should expose people to everything and let them decide. But that said, if you're a parent or, just know that I've given you the little warning. So if you see them cursing and you're like, Ilya, how dare you direct us to that channel, you've been warned. All right. But even so, I would check their stuff out. It can be a little edgy, but so Brandon Carter, he really made an impression on me in terms of low carb diet. So I had heard about the idea, but through watching his videos, I think he helped put me over the edge and try them, and I've had great results in terms of my nutritional lifestyle changes from that, as well as other things. But it's not just for that topic, but the low carb thing, he really helped convince me. All right, and he has a lot of great motivational stuff as well. Next, we have Kinobody and Greg. So here's the thing. Just because I put people on this list doesn't mean I endorse everything about them, but it means they've helped me with something, I've learned something from them. So, if you find one video you don't like, you're like, Ilya, did you like this video about that this person made? So on the whole, I like what these people have to say. So in terms of Greg's channel, he's a big promoter of intermittent fasting, and that has been really working for me. And I've been, in fact, eating 2 meals a day for the past few years. So I might talk about more in a future video, but that's been a big thing that I've learned from his channel. So that's what I recommend. And also a quick workout thing. He gave me a workout idea. I saw him doing incline push-ups, but one-arm incline push-ups. So I never thought to do that. That was a fantastic idea. So I want to thank him for that. Next, we have Louie Simmons. So Louie Simmons, in case you haven't heard of him, he's basically a legend in the weightlifting world, and he has some of the strongest people in the world go to his gym. So so you guys should check him out. What have I really learned from him? And these have been really recent lessons for me. I I've learned about GPP, which is general physical preparedness. And what that means is your like overall conditioning and what you do on your off days or around your workouts. I really recommend you guys look into GPP. So, and he helped put that on my radar. There's also another channel. It's a lot more. It's not. I'm a little hesitant. I'm debating whether I should recommend it, but I found it useful. But my concern is for like the younger audience and the kids, because like the language he uses, it may not be for everybody. So I'll mention it really quick because on the whole, I think he's doing a great thing. Just know it's not for everybody. So, and because so AlphaDestiny, there's a channel slightly smaller than some of these, but he has a lot of great videos. But it can be a little not for everybody. But I want to thank him because through him and actually one of my colleagues from my old job, I learned through Louie Simmons. So that's why I want to thank him as well. All right, and he has great videos too, so don't get me wrong, I just don't know they're appropriate for everybody. But the content, like the exercise part of it, is fantastic. Okay, so then we have, let's see, so we have Louie Simmons. Okay, so for Louie Simmons, we have GPP, which is general physical preparedness. Then lower back issues. So what got me interested in this is I was doing squats or deadlifts with some fairly heavy weight, and I have an existing lower back issue with a herniated disc. So, and by the way, again, a disclaimer, I'm not a medical doctor or professional, so, you know, use your common sense, ask your doctor, don't do everything I say at your own risk. So he turned me on to GPP, but also lower back health. So what to do basically to prevent, like I was noticing I was squatting and I wanted to keep going heavy and progressing, but I felt bad after my workouts, like my back was tightening up, and for like a few days it hurt. So I started getting concerned because I didn't want to re-injure or escalate any existing problems. And so his thoughts and writings and videos on how to strengthen and bulletproof your body and lower back have been very helpful for me, as well as your knees. So that's why that, and also how to, you know, weightlifting safely and properly, how to get stronger and break through plateaus. And another big thing, which is active recovery. So I used to just rest after my workouts thinking the more well rested I was, the better. But he helped, and that's the GPP idea, which is if you're actually doing something like a sled pull or sled drag on your rest day, then that can help you recover faster and get stronger. So I'll just mention that. Next. And I might talk a lot more about these things in future videos. I just want to give you guys a quick overview. That we have my cousin. So my cousin, who is a martial arts instructor, like Chinese martial arts, Kung Fu, Bagua, all that good stuff. He's taught me a lot of stuff, and he's probably nearly broken my wrist every time he's demonstrated. So I'm very scared of his demonstrations. All right. Let's see. So, and probably many others I've missed or forgotten at the moment. So my significant other, for making me more open to meditation, herbal supplements like oil of oregano, essential oils, the mindset, having more patience, enjoying the present moment, doing more application and less theorizing, actually just trying something really quick and seeing if it works, and so much more. And my dad. So, I mean, there's so many other people. So my dad was a huge part of my life growing up, and we would do a lot of activities. So he made exercising a lifestyle. We would be constantly active, playing sports, jogging, hiking, walking instead of driving places, going for walks after a meal, etc., as well as like eating healthy and so much more, like sleep, stress management, positive mindset. So it's important to have good, you know, whether it's friends or family that are good, positive influences in your life. Now, oh, and this is like a late addition. I almost forgot about my grandma and grandpa. So my grandma's, I only found out a few years ago, used to be a track and field runner. I didn't know that back in the old country. And she's active to this day. I mean, she's 85 or older, but like she broke her hip, and like a month after that, she was up and running. She had fixed, like she didn't just lay there. She was walking. She always takes walks. She'll do like a little bicycle thing. So she's very active, and she's inspiration. Like basically, you don't have to get like old and crippled and debilitated as you get older. So huge inspiration there. Grandpa. So there's like one of my grandpas passed away, but he did a little bit of exercising too, not that much. But then there's actually like 3 others. So there's the grandpa on my mom's side, and check this out. He used to do, at an age of like 75, he would do 10 fingertip push-ups. I don't think I could do that still, but he had these like little sausage fingers and just did these crazy fingertip push-ups. And I did not want to arm wrestle him. He was like this like little jacked guy. And as well, I actually learned a nice exercise of like swinging my arms from him. I don't know if he invented it or got it from some crazy other Russian folks, but I may put that in a future video. In fact, I probably will. But so I picked up a few things from him too. And he's preached the importance of moderation and not doing things in excess. Everything in moderation. And then my great grandpa, he used to play like soccer or be into wrestling. But then one of my grandpa's stepfathers, so he's sort of like my grandpa. Just a quick story there. So like around World War II, when the Nazis and the Fascists were coming to power, I forget, it might have been like Romania, Soviet Union, Germany, like in that whole region, he was a really good wrestler. And so he would actually protect a lot of other Jewish or other people. And so when the basically anti-Semitic gangs would come around and try to beat up people, they would call him to help protect them because people were scared of fighting him. So in fact, I think this one time he was wrestling this other guy, and I forgot the story. So he was wrestling this other guy, and I think the guy tried to pull a Mike Tyson on him, and he tried to he bit his ear, so he did something like really, really unprofessional. And then basically the great grandpa ended up beating the blank out of him and teaching him a really good lesson. So fast forward like a few months or time passed, that guy was on a train with an anti-Semitic gang, and my step-great-grandpa and his friend or whatever, he was sitting by himself on the train, and they were basically finding Jews on the train and just throwing them off the train. And so what happened was, he saw my step-great-grandpa, who was my cousin's grandpa, and he knew he was Jewish, but he just decided to pass by because he knew that if he engaged, even with his gang of 4 or 5 other cronies, that they would have the fight of their life on their hands. So he sort of chickened out and just left him alone on the train. So that's just, and also then he got a Medal of Valor or Honor during World War II for going under enemy lines and rescuing people. Anyway, so that's a huge inspiration right there. All right, so let's go quickly to less glamorous things. My fitness background. So I only want to get across one theme. So A, it's not that impressive, but B, I just want to stress that it's diverse. So I'm coming at it having experienced a lot of things and having some moderate proficiency, but I'm by no means super advanced in most of these things. So for example, calisthenics is probably had been one of my big things. So I can do an one arm pull up or on one hand and almost do it on the other. I'm training for a one arm handstand, straddle front levers, working on the planche, V-sits. I can do a back lever, that sort of stuff. So if you're into calisthenics, that intermediate level stuff. Splits and flexibility. Flexibility has been a huge thing for me, and mobility, I'm really big on those. So I'm definitely going to be doing some videos on those. And just overall health. I used to play, I'm pretty good at tennis. I used to play a lot, every sport you can think of, basketball, soccer, football. Not, nothing serious. Just as a kid, I was pretty decent at all of those. Slacklining, rock climbing. So I rock climbed for a year. Again, I'm not that great, but just so I have some experience in these areas. Unfortunately, the one I'd say, my immediate thing I'd like to improve on is martial arts. I don't have that much experience. In fact, my only experience, I did 3 months of jiu-jitsu in college, a little bit after that, but then my cousin, who is a martial arts instructor, has shown me a few things, and just watching videos and exploring on my own, a lot of self-experimentation. So it's not that impressive. Why do I tell you these things? Just so you could get a sense that like, oh, and very amateurish level, like front squatting, back squatting, deadlifting, I would say I'm a beginner there, but the point is I have some experience across these disciplines, so I sort of know how they affect one another. So, and like I said, I'm not the expert, and that's why I want to direct you to people that are really good at what they do. So that's a little bit about that. And so, my contribution, like I said, Ido Portal, he's about that general movement thing and being a generalist rather than a specialist. So I kind of want to take that, like I said in the introductory video to the health series, and extend that to your whole life, right? Or my whole life, your whole life. So in other words, I want to encourage you guys to interconnect and relate everything to everything. You can think about a math problem while exercising. You can improve in exercising through lessons learned through math, English, or other areas of your life. Everything is interconnected. And as I mentioned in the intro video. So I hope these references to other channels gives you guys a good place to start and to go deeper as you follow my videos in parallel. Maybe you kind of go a little in depth and get a little more breadth from my videos. And everybody stands on the shoulders of giants, and these people are giants. So you might like my videos, not like but the point is, everybody learns from somebody. So I think I'll be doing a disservice to you guys if I didn't show you some of the people that I've learned from. All right, I will see you guys in the next video where we get into body awareness.